Hey guys, welcome. This is Brad Krantz. Thank you so much for joining me today for Monday Morning Leadership. Today, coming to you from Summers, Montana. And today is, are you a true leader or just a boss? And this is kind of the substance of this. The outline was taken from an article in Business News Daily back in 2019. But I think most of us know the difference intuitively, that there's a distinction between being just a boss and being a true leader. Okay, but I think oftentimes the two get confused and the distinctions get blurred. Okay, and I think we've seen it play out, whether it's in our jobs, organizations that we've been part of, and even churches that we've attended. So, which are you? And how do you know? Well, just kind of a quick preface here. There's many differences between bosses and leaders. I'm going to talk about that shortly. According to a recent study by Robert Half and Associates, 49% of professionals, almost 50%, surveyed said they quit a job due to a bad boss. Now, I left my last job in 2018. Wasn't so much due to a bad boss, but poor and very lacking, shallow, inexperienced leadership. So it has a big difference, right? We're going to talk about leadership as influence, nothing more, nothing less. But poor, bad boss, poor or lacking leadership can be a reason. So to become a good leader, you should influence, inspire, and mentor your team members. Okay. And this requires, amongst others, I've been talking about this from Gary Vaynerchuk's book, 12 and a half, requires self-awareness, empathy, and accountability, just to name a few of the traits. And there are some key strategies. As the article notes, I don't like that word. I would call them traits, because strategy almost sounds like something you're manipulating. Like, if I just do X, Y, Z, then I'm a good leader, versus something I think that's inbred, that's part of you. So I think traits that a good leader incorporates in their behavior, if they seek to be a true leader, and that's key here, is delegating authority, being thoughtful to team members, promoting open communication, and setting clear team member expectations. Okay, so here's some examples. I kind of tweaked these because I didn't like the verbiage, but boss is boss, right? And leaders influence. Again, my favorite quote by John Maxwell: without question, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Like, bosses, kind of boss, right? I'm your boss. I tell you what to do. You do what I tell you to do, that type of thing. Leaders influence, and leadership influence is different, right? You can have good and bad influence, right? So leaders seek to influence people, I think, to act the right way, to do the right things, to be the right people. So it's more than just bossing. That's where the misnomer comes in, I think, is that, I want to be a good boss. So I'd like to be a good boss if I were one, but I'd rather be a great leader that happens to be a boss. So boss is boss, leaders influence. Secondly, bosses kind of tell what, right? This is what you're supposed to do. This is a job role. These things I need you to do to complete this project. These are your sales goals. Go out and do. So they tell you the what, but leaders inspire. It's deeper, right? They tell you the why. Why do you want to do this? Here's how I can inspire you. Why do you want to be the best at sales? Why do you want to be the best in your position, et cetera? So they give you the why, and that's really the distinction, right? Not just tell you what, but the why. And then bosses discipline, right? This is kind of almost humorous, but I remember the days working for big, Fortune 50 companies. Bosses, they're going to write you up, threaten to fire you. You need to do what I tell you to do. And they really have a disciplinary tone far too often, more than they should. Leaders mentor. Okay, and here's the difference. Real quick definition on leadership mentorship: it's the influence, guidance, or direction given by a mentor. Maybe in this case, hopefully it's a leader. Mentor is someone who teaches or gives help to a less experienced and often younger person, right? So they're not just there to discipline you when you get out of line, but they're here to mentor you, take you through the process, kind of like an apprenticeship thing. Here's how you do the right thing. Here's how you be the right person. Here's how you handle this situation. It's based on, I would say, more than experience versus positional authority, which I'm going to get to. Bosses delegate tasks. Okay, here's the job we need done. Joe, you do this. Mary, you do this. Tom, you do that, etc. Leaders delegate authority. And here's one of the things that got me when I left my last job: is too much second guessing, right? Micromanagement. Leaders delegate authority. They empower others. I hadn't felt empowered because nobody really gave me delegated authority to me to be competent. And I'd say just free to fail and learn, and to own being accountable, right? You want to create other leaders. As a leader, empower people, delegate authority, allow them to fail and learn from it, help them, mentor them along the way. but don't just delegate tasks and then the boss, I'm still the boss. You didn't do this task right. This didn't get done right. We lost money here, etc. But delegate authority, allow people to take ownership so they can be free to fail and learn, and free to own being accountable. That's how you learn it. And then bosses see themselves too often as above the team, right? I'm the boss, you're the employees or the team members, you're below me. Again, I'm the one in authority. You need to do what I tell you to do or how I tell you to do it. And it's really, again, that's entry level. Level one, as John Maxwell calls, position. It's really by default. A boss, again, is a leader, but they're a level one leader most often, and too often, unfortunately, because it's given to them by their position, right? They're positional leaders. I'm your boss, so I'm your leader too. Well, yeah, that's true. But leaders are part of a team based on relationship. And that's where you go up to level two. Permission. I give you permission to lead you. I want to follow you. I want to have you influence me because I like who you are. I see how you do things. I like, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the next step of leadership. And I think that's where really true leadership starts, is at level two. I'm not going to go through the other three levels here, but bosses often set themselves above the team as a person in authority. Other leaders are part of the team. They're down in the trenches with the troops, right? They're rolling their sleeves up, getting their hands dirty, that type of thing. But it's based on relationships. So guys, I hope this helped a little bit today in distinguishing it. I'd leave you with two questions here. Which are you based on the examples that I gave? Are you a boss or are you a true leader? Okay. And then how would you describe the difference between a boss and a true leader from your experience? I'd love to hear back from you. Please feel free to bounce me a message, comment on the video posted on my YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram. Again, guys, thanks again for joining me. I hope this was helpful and it added some value to you. Have an awesome Monday. Bye-bye.